I read a thread with several reviews by actually Postgres
Yeah.
committers,
So since you had
and
asked for that, I didn't know if since
uh,
we're
I
letting
I thought that we are going to make some changes, and I'm going to review changes.
cool. Well, I was just making
So
sure since we have a little time to kill, I didn't know if you were going to do that in real time
I can
or
do it right now.
a
There
little
are
prep.
several actually versions in GitLab I see now. There is a change request 28 and 30. Nick, which one is for review? Is that one for Postgres 15 or
No,
for
for
head?
15 it was back patch, previous one.
Okay.
But before we go there, like, well, okay, let's do the review first. It's a good idea. Then I will explain what's happening. Actually, it doesn't matter the order. Let's do this. So we have a patch I created already sent to hackers, and the
Mhm.
idea, let's just review it while I sending some links in some places. Right, links to our session.
Uh,
You need. I can send you direct link if you want.
oh no, I already found it. Okay. Thread through the patch. There is a very lengthy documentation change. No, I mean, very lengthy.
Yes.
I mean, 50 lines. Not like super lengthy, but yeah.
The,
Lengthy documentation change, which I cannot read fast because it's not a SQL.
yeah. Yeah.
There are many
Are you
tests.
going to share screen or no or no?
I can. Yes, just a moment. Uh,
We even didn't say hello this time because I suddenly press a button. So hello
do
everyone who
do
joining or
yes,
watching the recording. Yes. So Andrey, Kirk, and Nick again. We have session unusually without big break between two sessions. So just 1 week. Let's see how
yeah.
it goes.
Maybe we will do it like more regular, maybe weekly. So this is the patch that is doing system identifier option to G reset wall. Reset wall is a tool that like happy hacker should never use. If you are using reset wall, you are either deeply into a very wild experiment or in a like a disaster. Something is really going wrong. I have saw successful use of reset wall only once. It was not me who is doing reset wall. It was a database administrator with like 20 years of experience of database administering.
Right. So it's intended to be used only as like maybe last resort tool during like
Yes,
recovery from corruption or something.
if you are doing a reset wall, probably you are prepared to destroy database entirely, like
Right.
this
Key
copy of
point.
database.
Right.
That's the key
Uh,
point.
But
You will destroy a good database.
also worth noticing, I just learned like looking at PG upgrade code. PG upgrade does it many times. It does
yes,
PG reset wall.
but
Like, I was
PG
surprised.
upgrade is not a human. It's a script.
Right.
It's
Right.
precise. And what is it doing? So it's how great is going. You have a absolutely new cluster, like created
In
from
EDB. Right.
just initialized. And folks who are doing upgrades first time, they are always surprised. What for do you need an empty cluster? And what happens next is that you dump a system catalog and try to connect all the wires from previous database to this new catalog. And these wires are connected by PG reset wall. but it's not actually resetting wall. It's the tool is for changing system parameters, changing the LSN position in wall, changing multi-exact stuff, and I think multi-exacts are just removed by upgrade, changing all the wires that you need to connect. So
Basically, it's hacking everything, right? It's hacking tool.
It's internal tool. Like, you know,
Right.
when you use Git, there are, they call it porcelain and plumbing commands. Porcelain is like git pull or git clone. It's commands for a user. And plumbing commands are commands
Right.
that are called by user commands. And you should never do like ref list or get object, some internal commands. In many
Right.
systems have this concept, and reset wall is internal tool. But so you needed
Right.
reset wall. Can you tell us the story behind why
Yeah,
you
well,
need
it was exactly like this. Like we had a sequence of walls in archive, and then an EDB happened, and then we tried to recovery from that. And when an EDB happens, it creates new cluster with its system ID. You can see it in PG control data that system identifier is different, and that's why walls cannot be replayed. But we wanted them to be replayed, so I thought it's a good idea to change it. Well, actually, you suggested me. You suggested me. I just changed system ID. First thing I did, I just did like edited and learned that you cannot directly edit it because there is a checksum.
Checksum.
Yeah. So that's why I thought, okay, it's probably a good idea to just implement it because I have Cursor and Claude 4, and let's do it. So this is what I vibe coded again. But yeah, this patch is interesting because it's probably too much. And you were right saying documentation is already too much. It can be, I think, reduced for like to be
like
brief.
I can just summarize I've already read reviews from hackers,
Right.
so I am
Starting with
opinionated.
Kirk.
Uh,
Thank you so
yes,
much.
Kirk already reviewed the patch and suggested few like user experience enhancements. Peter Eisentraut reviewed the patch.
Suggesting
And
removing interactive mode completely, so Kirk's
like,
comment disappears basically, right?
well, yes, he says that it's already sharp tool. Why do you need precautions like
Right,
force flag and all that
right,
stuff?
right.
And Michel Paquet suggested also well, basically agreed with Peter Eisentraut review and suggested starting in documentation actually. Because this explanation is a copy paste from
Yeah.
another place.
Makes sense.
Actually, there are so many copy pastes in Postgres code base, and
We can address it in different patch probably, right? Try to find copy pasted places and so on.
the thing is, copy paste in code base is not the same as copy paste in documentation.
You mean in
Like,
code based? Okay.
yes, like again, it's comments in code base are like plumbing stuff. It's for us. But in the documentation is for users, so we have to raise standard higher here. So speaking about documentation, so we are going to make shorter. Just remove this paragraph. Tests are very extensive. But
because also interactive mode. That's why I think if we ditch interactive mode, tests will be reduced significantly. I'm not defending anything. I'm listening. So
No, look, the patch was well done. You generated more tests than I expected.
I
Their
generated 0
feedback,
tests. It's
well,
all cursor.
you, as part of producing the patch, that
Right.
process you used
Oh.
produced good tests, but the team was right in pointing out that at
Yeah.
a certain point, you're testing their default tools to parse the parameters, and those are tested elsewhere. And
Yeah. Like excessive testing.
yeah, and the
Which-
downside to excessive testing is with thousands of tests, like if
Yeah,
everyone gets
takes
that
time.
way,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Mhm.
Force flag will be ditched as well. So it will
nice.
go away. No, -1 test. Yeah.
Yeah. I like actually the ratio. So like I think it was Brian Kernighan who said that if you are writing code that is as smart, like debugging is twice harder than writing code, so we have twice more tests than the code changes. I want to see actually nearby tests. How do they look like? Are they similar or do they differ? Like usual comments that human hackers were leaving are shorter. Probably it's a good. Okay, can't say anything new about tests, especially given the fact that we are going to remove a lot of stuff here. Peter suggested removing sort flag.
Short. Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
And I agree with that.
Yep,
Why?
probably so.
Why?
Why do I agree with removing a short flag? Because the gift of a long flag is clarity, and the shortness of the shorter flags are better used when they're either in combination with other things or you
Often.
got a much smaller number of those available, right? There's 26 or 52 short flags. Long flags, there's an infinite number. So you're using what I would consider a scarce resource for a scarcely used and hardly combined flag.
And also, if a short flag is supposed to be convenient if you use it often, right? It's just to type less, and this we're definitely not going to use often.
One hopes. You have operational concerns if you want the -s.
I don't think that like reset wall flags are that scarce. So reset wall is not like super actively developed, actually. I think it was changed maybe once in a release cycle or so.
By the way, I had a
But
concern that based on the name, PG reset wall should reset some information in wall or wall related. And here we're doing something not wall related. But then I read documentation, and the documentation says this is tool for resetting wall or some system information, blah blah blah. So we are good.
yeah, that's a good place. So what happens if we cannot write?
Cannot write what? Logs?
Yes, control file. Probably it's handled somewhere else, not in your patch. We just change in memory system identifier and that's it.
And there is a check that makes sure that it was actually changed. But I don't know, that might just handle in memory versus writing it and reading it back.
It's from in memory. Okay, so I don't have any new like notes or requests. Let's just implement what Peter and Michelle suggest.
Well, hold on. Are we going to? I thought we were going to jump back over to how did you do this before we
I wanted
changes.
to chat a little bit about some stuff. So yeah,
I'm going to
Ah,
introduce you a little bit while you share your things. Everyone knows you. I mean, introduce the concept. So normally, Nick has amazing, interesting ideas, and he wants to try to hack them. That's how, he met with Andrey, who actually works on the code. And this was driven by Andrey can be his fingers into the C code and do this. And then, I'm just dead weight they bring along sometimes to put some icing on the cake and maybe break it down for people who are slow like me. But what happens now is that's been working. It's hard to get us all together. And all of a sudden, somebody, maybe Nick, discovered that, oh, maybe I can ask the GPTs or the LLMs to help me out and see, can I actually direct them and get them to make a patch and get it pushed through and get the changes made. And what we're going to do is review his process because he's done enough of this. The first patch was, I think, sent out in January, February this year, and it's already approved and pushed in. Now,
yeah.
through the process, he's going to cover his process so that we can take a peek at this. Anyways,
Thank,
Nick, you have the floor.
thank you for summarizing. Yeah, usually the problem is I like what you said, and Andrey is a great hacker, I must admit. In every release, improving like the strength, showing the more and more strength. If you check release notes, Andrey is like presented really well last many years. So, but terribly slow, I must admit, terribly slow. Because like just to have a meeting, we need like to try to find time together for many months, and then like always busy. Everyone is always busy. So I thought, yeah, I should solve this eventually. But the key happened. Yeah, and you said, let me share my screen because I have some material which I think can be beneficial for people at some point. So yeah, I posted this last week after our previous session because I decided, like, why not, right? Why should we hide? And this is commit in March, and this is my session. So this was a patch which closed some gap we identified during database lab development, because for RDS and others we need to bring data logically, and often we need to to lower environments, right? And we need to exclude various stuff which is not super important sometimes, and we needed to implement these no policies because I noticed, oh, actually they like it somehow. They have everything, no owners, no permissions, like, but no policies, and we needed to build some logic around pg restore hyphen l, lowercase l, uppercase l, lists, so filter, and to filter out policies. And so I had a session with Claude 3.7 in January, quite long, because I copy pasted everything and back and forth and managed to get the patch working. I think I put everything to GitLab, to this Postgres. It belongs to some guy, I think, and I hope that guy won't delete everything because it's not official mirror. But I just like to type Postgres, and that's it. And the patch is somewhere here. I have some other patches. And then I noticed, oh, it's actually committed by Tom Lane, right? And
yes.
yeah, and the patch itself, where is it? I don't see. Yeah, let's find it maybe. PG dump. Maybe it's not here. Okay, but the patch itself, if you check the patch itself, it like everything was left as is, because I recognize this name, this title. This is text. The text written by Claude fully. I just like influence, like saying, let's drop this. Like today we try to remove extra stuff. And Tom moved the logic to another function, which is a great idea. And that's it. So not a lot of changes. So I think this is maybe one, or maybe the first contribution to Postgres, which was created by AI, right?
And when you say created by AI, clearly you did not write a single line of code.
Yeah,
right?
zero. I just influenced. I tested and influenced. Yeah.
Perfect.
So yeah. Help the forwarding. You see, I even follow up. I had comments in thread. I followed up with my thoughts, but asking to rephrase them so they sound better, because sometimes I have issues explaining. Yeah. So yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
what did this impact any of your thoughts behind how much more important test-driven development kind of becomes when you start
Yeah.
using the AIs?
Let me. I have some presentation actually, some very short one. So that was Claude 3.7. And when you said suddenly some thought came to my mind. This thought came very long ago, of course, when GPT-4 was released more than 2 years ago. Of course, I already started thinking about it. Like we can improve Postgres with this. And what's important here is that all LLMs know Postgres code base quite well. It's widely discussed. It's super open. It's quite old. So a lot of stuff, they remember internet, right? LLMs remember internet in compressed form, so to speak. So, but Postgres is not something new to them. They know. But 2 years ago, 1 year ago, all my attempts were failing. And I think a pivotal point right now is release of Claude 4 by Anthropic. I just to notice, I have all subscriptions to all like high-end models. I use them every day, but I feel Claude 4 is much better than GPT 4.5. Definitely better than Gemini 2.5 Pro, and so on. And I like its personality more than others. So I have an idea that the trick here, and I notice it's probably very hard for engineers to, so it's maybe not visible, but basically for in our careers, engineering careers, we have forking point where we need to decide, are we individual contributors or we going to manage people? Very different modes, right? And I think AI messes this up completely, because even if you are an individual contributor, obviously AI can bring more power, but you need to learn how to explain what you need better instead of doing things. And sometimes it's really hard. It's easier to do with humans, right? It's easier to implement something than explain and then control and then deal with various hallucinations, mistakes, wrong ideas, and so on. Yeah. So yeah, since our last session, I coded a lot, not only Postgres. And unfortunately, I skipped my weekend. I have a rule not to work at Saturday, but I worked at Saturday, and I like somehow I coded like a lot. If you check my statistics, it's like 2, 3, 4, 5,000 lines per day accepted changes. So like I have issues with sleep lately. So yeah, but I just feel potential. I had 6 or 7 sessions with our folks showing them this and having pair code with like 2 human and 1 AI, and we achieve things. And so I created 4, maybe 5 already patches for Postgres, and one of them we discussed today. I also configured VoltG on some temporary server, not by hands, but with Cursor. And funny thing, we started with Cursor running on another guy's machine, and there it complained, oh, it's not secure, or some remote server. On my machine, it didn't complain. So security is very interesting topic in LLM. And then eventually we convinced to run on that machine as well, just saying, like, it's okay, it's our machine, blah, blah, blah. So, and then we just SSH, address and comment, right? So, and we configured everything.
Who was executing the commands over SSH?
Cursor.
Was it Cursor?
Yeah.
So you gave Cursor the SSH credentials effectively, in which there's an UI for that.
But
and then you allowed it to start making those as part of your changes.
Yes.
And in the beginning, just so everyone knows, it'll prompt you for each of those commands. And you can click the button, yes, go ahead. Yes, go ahead. Now, that's tedious after a while. And gutsy people like Nick will click on the other option that says, for this type of
Always.
command, just go ahead and do it. Just try not to connect, to the whitehouse.gov website before bringing it down. Anyways.
Yeah, right. But the funny thing, I have this always allow enabled, but it stopped working. So now I need to. I think the cursor has bugs. They release a new version every couple of days. So now I need to approve every command. It slows me down a lot. But you're right. Security is a big concern here. So what happened next? We configured everything, and we were sitting in Ansible repository which provisioned that server. So idea is next step is like remembering all the steps if context windows allows, right? Just create additional runbook for such specific task to configure or reconfigure backups. But we made a mistake, all of us, 2 humans and 1 AI, we made a mistake. We everything worked, but next day backup didn't work because of some issue. When we put it to cron, we didn't double check that. I think it was missing sudo -1 something. So something with permissions, we needed to double check. Tests are important. So, and then I started also doing some benchmarks, and this is amazing. Like this is another story. I won't dive there, but it's in a very interesting direction. Oh, incident. So it was incident in the middle of night, and instead of disturbing others, I diagnosed all the problems myself with all kubectl, blah blah blah. I'm always slow with kubectl, always. But this took 8 minutes with final report with all the details and 3 mitigation action items. So it was great experience. I also provided access to kubectl, so it's security-wise, it's a big question to me as well. So now I wanted to share workflow. First, again, like I start cursor. I want to make it bigger, I guess. Version is number 1 check. So now I think all good. Then important, it's paid version, $20. They give you 500 requests per month. I already exceeded them, but it's not painful at all. It's still like low number of bucks when you have extra. So important that Claude for Sonnet. No, Sonnet is not the strongest model from Anthropic. The strongest model is Opus, but it's available only in max mode. It will eat up all your credits very quickly. So idea is we use Claude for Sonnet here. And for Opus we use for code reviews. And I will show like in our change right now. So yeah, we open project, and then first thing I do when I open a new project, I wait until it's been indexed. Postgres source code indexing happens like maybe a minute or 2, so it's not instant. And also interesting thing here in this particular case, I decided to put Postgres Git directory as subdirectory and to have all the stuff here, not to mistakenly committed, because it happened many times. And I think it adjusts how LLM thinks about code. So now I stopped doing this. Now I open the code and then I ask just to keep patches somewhere else, like in TMP or something. But sometimes
for the record, Nick gave me these instructions to follow, and I tested them in setting up my cursor environment. And this is exactly what I did and was able to use it. And then I got carried away like Nick and created my first patch with cursor. So
cool.
Just confirming these steps work.
Yeah. With some struggles. So struggles are always possible. I had a huge struggle this morning, actually. Yeah, let's not go there. So I spent 30 minutes for nothing, basically. But yeah, it happens without cursor as well. Sometimes you have dead ends when coding, right? And this approach, when you put git clone into subdirectory, it's convenient, I think, still when you need to deal with multiple directories, like microservices or stuff. You need to deal with multiple stuff at the same time to give context of everything there. So yeah, and yeah, everything indexed. And now the important part, explain what we've done so far. I'm trying to this is already a session where I created that patch we reviewed, right? So now I'm about to fix things we wanted to fix. Yeah, this we don't need. So yeah, so we had 7 versions. We had this. So he understands all everything we had. Now let's do this. We just take code review. So Andrey, you don't want to add anything, right?
Yeah, I
So,
think review
sounds
is
good. Let's review the result once we adjust it. So I'm going to take everything as is. I'm very lazy. It will recognize its review. What do you think, guys? Where are we going? So, and I can easily imagine some people won't be happy with this, and they will have some fears. So,
But this is, I mean, just for the average person thinking about, oh my gosh, how do I turn that into a prompt? Okay. What do I tell the AI? Look at what we just did. And by we, I mean Nick. He took all of the feedback, formatted the way it was on screen, pasted it in, and let
dumped,
the AI deal with it.
just dumped
Right?
as is. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it rephrased in shorter form, just like items we have here to.
did you skip header and footer at least? Like,
It
Why?
did.
there is.
It bypassed it. Yeah. I think that's great.
Yeah, why? It's public communication. Oh, by the way, yeah, I was fighting with this somehow. Yeah, still we had them spaces in the
Extra
end of line.
spaces.
Yeah, I had the verification of it, but somehow overlooked again. I wonder why it's writing them, right? It's strange. So, okay, no more S. Short version removed. Short option removed. I accept the changes. Last session, I remember Andrey hesitated to accept. I always accept mostly. Like I do final review later. So this is like in place review. I say, okay, let's do it.
What is
What
it
is
doing?
what
What
is
is it?
1000? Yeah, what is 1000? I have no idea. We will address it later.
Okay.
Okay, removing some code. Where's this code? We can do this as well, right? Oop. Yeah, we will see this.
Probably 1000 is kind of identifier of a long option.
Yeah, the thing is that I'm not going to rely on what it will do, like as a like final result, because next step will be reviewing with bigger models, right? So I will describe this in a moment. Okay, yeah, it says it's ready to commit. Okay, let's commit. Yeah, this is what is dangerous when you have a lot of patches right here. Okay, oops, there's a problem. Oh, GPG signing issue. Okay, no GPG sign. Okay, this repository allows it. So now we should have. Did it push or no? Push it. Push it. So it implemented 2 of 5 changes planned. I actually like to move in smaller steps and have separate commits for every small change.
That's a good point. That's what I learned as well. I found when it tried to change documentation and code in the same group of changes, it made more mistakes. So documentation, I separated.
Yeah, this is our change. Let's not do review right now. Let's just, this is vibe hacking. We will dive into code, but only in the end. So, and okay, it says everything is done. Well, I somehow overlooked it. Oop.
Well, you pushed the first change and then it continued with the rest. It looks
What's
like.
next? What's next? Yeah. He says, what's next? 1, 2, 3. Simplify tests, fix documentation, fix white space issue. So with documentation, important thing I wanted to mention, and you, Kirk, already started saying this. So tests, so TDD can be done better because like it's not so lazy to write tests. And I consider documentation also as tests, basically, not as specification. So our intention, what we are going to implement, and usually we code ourselves. It's not so super important, and we actually postpone writing documentation to the very end. Here, I feel it's better to start with it because LLM will see it and understand what we want. Right? It's also kind of test, just in free form, right? Spec.
It's a crystallizing of the thought process.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So, I think in my university, I was taught like people who created computers and actually software for computers in 60s and 70s. They taught us how important it is to have specification for everything, for requirements, then write tests, like a lot of specifications at every step. And this was waterfall model, right? So it's like takes many months until release. And then everything, and it was okay because computer was expensive, human was not. Human hour was not so expensive compared to computer time. Then things changed radically, right? And computer time became cheap. Human time became super expensive. Extreme programming, let's iterate faster, and so on, and tests, and they like TDD. It's a good attempt, but we are lazy, right? So we don't write a lot of tests. And I think now it will will change, bringing some practices from the past, right? Because we can move faster with specifications and so on. Yeah. Okay. So, it did something. We will analyze it a little bit later. You see, I have an auto run all the time, but it still asks me for permissions. I accept everything. Let's do this. Commit and push.
Well, it says no white space issues. Good. And that's part of the testing too. So you can train the LLM.
I don't understand why run.
You can train the LLM to, hey, when you're done doing stuff, always do X, Y, and Z, like, the make, check, whatever, but do these things. Check for the spacing errors by running this tool. And that's what I found to be incredibly useful. Get up and get your coffee sometimes while it's doing it. But the reality is it doesn't shy away from doing it.
Yeah. And I also, we started putting some code style stuff inside rules. It has rules and it can auto-generate them based on memory. So like kind of, I enabled this feature because it's public code space I'm dealing with right now. And you can put some rules here, what to do when, and how to follow your code style and so on, which is good.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't even know about the rules being there. So I'm learning.
Yeah, I also set up MCP servers. You can put documentation here additionally. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff here already. So documentation, for example, you can put, it's basically a RAG, right? So retrieval augmented generation tool, check Postgres 17 documentation, for example, and use it right now, and so on. And MCP, so MCP, it's like kind of API for LLMs. You can run various tools. It can be anything. Yeah. So, for example, it can create merge request itself if you provide it that capability. So, okay,
you just agreed to merge what it did with the patch.
Oops, where was it? It cannot merge because it won't have it won't. So everything is inside one. Where was it? Okay.
So it's okay if we are going to send, but we are not done yet.
Yes, we're not done. We are going to review.
And I already looked through changes. So
Hold on.
okay,
Before
okay,
you, let's because it's not a full
okay.
process. That's why I paid little attention. Of course, it's not good to pay little attention, but it's easy. This
Like
danger.
the model wants to send it actually, and it's a good like intention, but we need to
Slow down.
Slow down.
yes.
So I don't know. GitHub also should have it, but GitLab has this interesting capability. You can write like this, merge request and patch, and then you have everything. But if it's several commits, it will represent them as several patches, and it will upset LLM. So this is another thing. Just diff. It will not have commit messages and so on, unfortunately, but it will be clean diff between 2 points. So this I just copy pasted the content, and I'm going to create new session, choose Opus. By default, if you have not a maximum subscription, it will always give you Sonnet because Opus is expensive, and credits are like you will hit limits and you will need to wait a few hours until you being able to continue. So review this strictly. Let's write something. Be careful to be with great attention to details because this is about to be merged soon, committed soon. What?
It's okay to
It's
lie
okay
to LLM
because
because we want
we
you
want
to
this to be committed very soon.
Okay, that's true.
Yes. Yeah. Well, in
You could
this
have
detached
lied and said
reality.
it was written by your competitor.
Yeah. So let's be very strict, not strictly. So scrutinizing. It can take up to 1 minute actually because this is a slow model. Very. Let's see how it thinks.
And I wanted to say back on that one slide where you talked about how most tech people, because I'm in that group, have to choose, are you going to end up managing people or trying to stay the technology path? And you said this creates kind of a little problem. I think it creates a new opportunity for
Yeah.
people like me who don't want to get too far from the coding, but I just can't do it like I used to. But
Yeah.
I can pound a prompt almost as good
Yeah.
as you.
Yeah. Well,
So
I agree. This is great, a positive way of thinking about this. Managers can code more and like prototype more. Engineers learning how to explain things to others who don't complain like
yeah,
humans. They can also have more power, right? And create more. So okay, it says let's read everything. Okay. Well crafted. All good. Minor issues. 4 unnecessary blank lines it found. Yeah, honestly, let's do this. This is what I do lately. I don't overthink. I just provide it back and then give it a few iterations. So I just copy paste it right here as is again. I tried to split, analyze, like add some points, but eventually I realized it's better to give it several iterations and deal with final result, especially if it's working and test. Actually, by the way, we forgot to compile and test. We should do it right before finalizing. And once one model is happy, I proceed to another model like GPT-4.5, and then another Gemini, and only then to hackers. This is where like we have 3 big model reviews. Okay, it found several things, except looks like empty lines, right?
well, it reminds me of the what is it the blockchain process of approving transactions, right? You start it, the first one looks at it, and boom. And until you get 51% of the network approving it, it's not approved. It's kind of what you're doing right now, is you're
Yeah.
using multiple GPTs.
Yeah. Commit
Wow.
message tries to create commit message somewhere. Why? Okay. It worked.
So the difference for me is I actually
Force with this. Okay.
forked the Postgres code and put it in my own Git, and then I leverage it from there. So it can commit
Oh,
away
oh,
all at once.
yeah. In my case, I just forked Postgres poses, which is a mirror, and I think I set up my mirror also as a mirror, and automatically when I create development branch, it creates merge request, and just for convenience, I like this interface. Got used to it. Could be GitHub as well, and yeah, I see everything here. But notice it squashed everything. It's not good. This is not what I wanted. It's not the first time it happens. So we lost history. Not good. Not good.
I've
So
had that
yeah,
happen. It got in a loop where it kept going, okay, let me do that. And it started with this, basically resetting everything and blowing all the
yeah.
changes away and
But
restarting.
I don't like before we finalized completely. I don't like the idea we squashed it, and this is my a price I'm paying for lack of attention. I approved everything. Boom. So if you want to move really fast, mistakes are inevitable, and some loss can be data loss even. I
Can
lost
you
some
give it
patches
a
like this.
rule? Can you give it a
Rule,
rule
I
not
think so,
to
but
do
who
reset
knows it
at?
will be followed fully because can you give a rule to human?
Yeah,
Yeah, you can.
yeah,
Oh, you see, something is not good.
yeah. That's that 1,000 number probably. Or
Uh-huh. Okay, let's give it a chance to fix.
back to this cycle. So at a high level, you want to get the AI, whatever you're using, in a edit, run, validate process. And this gets back to both having it understand your changes and you crystallizing it with the description, as well as building some of the testing or making sure the testing it's going to exist that it needs to compare against. Your results will be horrific if you can't test and you have no baseline tests.
Yeah, what are we building actually? Yeah, tests are a must, of course, and manual test as well. But what's happening here? What are we building here? We are building something unexpected.
Well, it
So
was asking to just
some
recompile.
SDK, yeah, SDK. I don't need it. Ah, okay. It's okay. I see. There is an issue with some
Is
paths,
this
right? No, it
is
won't
this
work.
because you changed the folder, your
No,
default
it won't.
folder?
Yeah, I have multiple installations, not clean installation here, and definitely there's some issue here. So, do we have older messages where compilation worked? No, right? Where compilation worked? Commit. Yeah, we went too far. We should compile earlier. Okay, configure and compile Postgres. But where are the commands? Okay, make clean, make. This is already our attempt. Yeah. Oops. Okay, make clean, configure again. No ICU, and because it's not installed, and then attempt to make again. Where is it going actually? Why 3 levels? Okay, let's do it. Okay, my clean worked. Configure prefix is good. Disable NLS. Okay. Yeah, without a CEO, this is what I definitely want because it's not installed here. What is this? This is not needed here at all. It wrote some stuff, right? In the root of Postgres directory. That's weird. Some test it wrote to compile something. Battling with compilation problems, it wrote some test. Okay. And by the way, this is probably hanging terminal, which I sometimes have. No, okay, it configured, but we just didn't see this. Okay, make. But why only reset? Well, we need everything, right? Because we want cluster, we want initdb, want everything because we will be doing initdb. Oh, you see? Remember last time it was single threaded. Now it's like I'm lucky. It's smart. This time it's smart. Oh, okay. Okay, CD Postgres. This is what I said. If you put into subdirectory, you will be hitting sometimes with like, occasional mistakes.
And also it's using J for tests, and for tests, make check doesn't work with J. It's using a parallel schedule.
Good to know. But it's like it's okay. I mean, right?
Yeah,
It doesn't.
it won't
That,
break anything,
it's
so you can
just
say
not just slow, right?
nothing will even slower. You just ignore that argument.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, by the way, nproc doesn't work because it's only for Linux. So it understood it's on Mac. And this is I always forget this. Too many characters.
I always use 12.
Right. It's not changing
Anyway,
from day to day. It's not changing, right?
yeah. I update my laptop from time to time, but
Right.
12 is just optimal for last 5 years, and
Okay. Eating my CPU is
so.
being
By the way, I have reviewed the patch and I have few
okay.
nitpicks. Should I tell about
Okay,
it
let's
or?
let's switch to your review while I will be working on compilation and tests.
Okay, so let me share a screen.
And if there's anyone out there watching saying, with it this close to the very end, maybe making some of these changes by hand and just testing them, that's where I get caught because I come from a development background.
Yeah. It's easier to just. I also think like for these particular comments, like remove this, remove that. It's easier just to do it by hand. It would be, in this case, it would be probably faster, right?
Yeah,
But I wanted to show workflow as well, right? So like
yeah,
with reviews with
workflow is very interesting and review and reviews. I just
reviews.
I've read yeah, that's well, we have a workshop for reviewing reviews actually, so we can learn how to review code.
Right.
And I've read the review while you was pasting from Opus to Sonnet, and I've saw there that one of my points it didn't spot it. So here is one commit that
So we can bring more
you now
points.
have. Yes. Well,
Yeah, it's a final
documentation is
result.
is nice. I like it. I mean, it's like 40 lines less. I cannot read it actually because I don't see mistakes in English at all.
Cool.
Tests are shorter now. I focus it here on this. So this is 1,000,
Mystery.
and it's not mystery. I've checked others, and actually this is a like identifier, and it's used at 1 and 2, and this must be 3.
The code just wrapped.
So we have a huge gap, right?
Yes, yes, and I've checked
Easy to
other
fix.
binaries. Yeah, absolutely.
You
Just tell that the number must be
you
3 or
see,
something.
yeah, you see this button on the left of the line,
The comment.
Yeah. And then you see the first button next to the right of preview word. No, up. Yeah, the first. No. Back. And next button. Yeah, this one.
Insert suggestion.
Yeah. Press it. Just put 3 there and add comment. That's it. And I will commit and make our
Add comment now. The next button.
finish review.
We are
This
not
is
done
one.
yet.
Oh, got it.
So
Just the beginning. I think we should just put it after this. So
by the way, compilation succeeded. We can test.
We can run tests. That makes sense. Okay, so let me go on with things that I want. So I want essentially this identifier to be in agreement with other binary tools that are using 1, 2, 3, and so on, natural numbers. I have no idea how it works with ASCII codes because O probably is something in 40 or 30.
Oh, wow. By the way, yes.
But
3 is fine. Like 3, yeah.
3 is perfectly.
Definitely.
Until 20, we are safe.
We'll have overlapping. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So let's go on. Here is a case which will be 3. This part's bothering me. Why do we check for minus sign? What is going on? I have no idea.
because he was checking to make sure it's an unsigned int is the actual value. So it's going to ignore the minus sign, and then it's going to make sure that it's greater than 0. So the challenge is you can't have a minus sign. So it's a specific error it's checking. It's saying, hey, if the option starts with a minus, it's a negative number. So if they try to say the ID equals -5.
Will this function do the trick of checking for minus or
yes.
not?
I think he had a test case that tested it.
So we can just throw away this code.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I'm saying the test case tested it. I don't know what value you're actually setting it to if you set it to -5, because it's going to convert that to an unsigned int.
I'm not sure.
You should not think about implementation. You should just ask question, and the implementer should take care of it.
I've asked this question from like search engine as they usually do.
Okay.
And search engine told me that there are some questions in Postgres mailing list about it.
Okay.
And there are questions by Peter.
Okay.
That you shouldn't use this function, but should probably I haven't read it entirely because I haven't found this function in the code base. First thing that I did, I looked at other calls of this function in code base. Only then I got to Google. And Google showed me this commit by Peter that he replaced all the call to this.
This is commit.
This is commit already, yes. So he replaced everything with another. So probably we should just throw LLM this commit.
Do you have commit hash? Yeah. I already copied it. No problem.
So
I will show you magic. A new magic. You will be amazed. let's see. Like it's enough. Do you have more comments? We will take care of this comment.
That's
in a
it.
moment. Great.
I just want to make sure this function works. And if we use proper function, chances are we can get rid of this code.
That's a
Besides
great
this,
way to ask the question.
We will see.
besides
Yeah.
besides this, I think Patch is in very good shape.
Sounds good.
I
Let me show like compilation and improve a little bit more and so on. So it's compiled and it already executed help. We see this, right, as expected. Now it wanted to, I think, initdb, right? Yeah, initdb. Abort. Why abort?
Oh, it's funny.
we
You're
are
sharing your screen recursively right now.
Oh,
You're not
sorry.
sharing the right screen.
Yeah. I will fix it.
We're going to end up in an infinite loop.
Yeah, no problem here.
There we go.
So I had issues with initdb. Yeah, this is annoying because it should initdb program Postgres is needed, but make install. Yeah, forgot about make install.
I know that like you told that LLM is junior developer, but it's the problem is not it's junior, like it lacks experience. It has just too much of experience. That stuff with linker and load libraries.
Yeah. What's happening?
What is it? Like normal junior developer would be scared as hell.
I
when
have
see this.
maybe 20 different Postgres installations on this poor macOS, and there are problems. Oh, okay. So it tested it. You see,
Actually, this is a good point too. For those who are
not
just
tested.
doing this the first time, I took my machine way out of date and add cursor, and I told it to just make and test the core Postgres code. It ended up realizing it had to reconfigure my environment. Then it downloaded 3 or 4 different tools all on its own. And then it set the machine up and finally got the build running. It took it 10 minutes. But I will tell you, that's a barrier to entry. That's a pain in the butt for us Windows type developers who are now on Linux trying to do this. We don't know these tools, right? It was great.
I know people who like managers and dealing with like cases like a manager dealing with too experienced engineer. It's also pain in the ass because overcomplicating stuff all the time, it's easier to find normal engineer, not super experienced, and just get things done without all the risks, all the problems. Right? It reminds me that. So it checked PG control data. This is our sysid, right? And this is perfect value I provided 1 2 3 blah 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 0 1 2 3 until 9. And let's see it will work. It worked. Check again. New value here, so it works. It should conclude that everything is all right. No, enough for now. And let's address 2 more comments. First was what? First was I already forgot. It was about
number about
yeah.
Maybe I can give some example of another binary that is.
No. Let's rely on your expertise here. And second is this part, right? Not this part. -1.
Like you can see pgm check binary. It has a lot. If it will check how long options are structured there, it will see how it can do it here.
Here, this is the second here, right? I remember some slightly different code somehow. Okay, I have this screenshot made, actually. This screenshot. So I want to do this magic. Boom. and all these two, right? Three screenshots. That negative number analysis. Revisit it, taking into account commit mentioned by made by Peter. Actually find that commit in history and think, analyze and think. Something like this. Not jumping into details here. Let's see.
But I can actually see a world where the next version of Cursor has like an AI group think, if you will, where it's doing what you're trying to do. It's running this stuff through, then it summarizes it for review by a different AI and two different AIs even.
It's already possible almost. You can create an MCP server. I was thinking about this. Instead of copy pasting, I can provide a secondary LLM, which is more expensive and slower. It will be thinking in critical points, reviewing and so on. Okay, so it agreed and already changed both lines. I accept that. Now with this searching web. No, doesn't. You have Git history, right? Okay. Probably didn't want to switch, right? It searched web. Okay.
Could just do a git log or git diff or whatever.
Yeah.
Could give it actually. We should give it like example of what we want.
Oh, look, it's showing you that some of the code was if-deft. So they defined it to use the string tool. So it wasn't actually going to use your code, right?
It says this function is a thin wrapper around str2 OUL. Trying to understand. -1 becomes this. It concludes, it defends the existing approach.
Okay, maybe why not? I just
we had Peter already reviewed this, right? And he made this change. You found.
He didn't make a -1 change, did he?
I haven't found -1 anywhere in code base.
Yeah.
Maybe I was looking.
What concerns us is that. Oh, stop. Is that -1 is not analyzed like string, right? Oh, yeah, minus.
That negative,
Not
right?
Like this anywhere in the code base.
Because technically, it's not an error for someone to say -1. Okay. Maybe it's a shortcut to the large number they already know.
Huh. Oh, actually, it already started doing some stuff.
Yeah, it wants to test it.
Test. Yeah. Test cluster. Okay. In this example, it found some example.
Nice.
So Claude and Andrey are having a fight a little bit. But here it's different, right?
Right. It's actually checking to see if it's not equal to -1, because that might have a specific meaning.
Interesting. Okay, directly without any manual negative number checking. Let me check what happens. Perfect. This is very revealing. I can see that page reset wall itself. This is excellent analysis. Good. Absolutely right. So we decided to change. Convinced.
You convinced the AI, Andrey.
It took some effort, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, it convinced me as like two because, well,
Who is convinced to in which direction?
we can try
I'm
to convince it back, and will be. I think it will be easy.
so what to do? Like accept this change or not? Because it just removed it and that's it. It's not empty, not zero.
Look, I think
Are we?
it's fine to remove it. And my
Why
logic
this?
is anyone who's playing with this tool and also
This
using a
is error.
negative
Okay.
probably has a reason, okay, for the number they're setting it to. Let them play.
I just want to understand. Will this function str to on sign at 64? Will it complain about minus on its own?
No, he
I
said
s-
they already tested it and said it converts it to the negative number, then basically strips it back down to the positive version of it.
Yeah.
It
Or
showed us
like
the actual numeric value,
yeah. Let me show
178.
you. Yeah. So this is -1. Oh no,
No, it's
this
up
is
one. No, it was 4 lines higher than where you were. Show me where you
here.
were. Yeah,
Here.
there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Instead of 178, it was 184.
Yeah. Yeah. This is my magic number. I recognized it. Easy.
Oh, I would remove minus anyway, just because like
It's
it's
ugly.
sharp tool. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, so I agree. Yeah, I think we're on the same page. There's no reason to do it because it's a tool being used by either
Overthinking. Yeah.
experts or
We're
systems.
we're dealing with overthinking again, right?
Yeah. We're the difficult
Extra
engineers.
logic. Why?
Yeah, removing extra logic, this makes perfect sense. I like the idea of getting rid of it.
All right, but does this look good? Because I noticed some extra space or something here. Right? Something is not right here. Right, it's extra space, I think. And then also it switched from pglok error to pglok error hint. Prog name. Why? Like, I don't understand why. Like this change.
Are
Okay.
those
No.
changes?
This was here already. Sorry.
Was
This
there?
this
Right.
yeah. So we just simplified getting rid of if here.
Yeah.
And but also it insists that null is not accepted.
That 0 is not accepted. Yep.
Oh, zero. Yeah. Okay. Let's finish it. Actually, we spent too much time already, right? So let's maybe wrap it up. And
All right. Back to your. Did you cover everything on your PowerPoint, Nick?
I think yes, all points are covered. I think after our session, I will additionally review it once again with Opus. Let's pause here. With Gemini, with GPT, polish myself if I see some issues, and I will send the new version of patch to hackers, mentioning Andrey performed review of list.
So in
Just have
summary,
a look at it.
I will mention Andrey performed the review of list, referring to Peter's commit. How about that?
Well,
Okay.
actually, a commit was found by AI, Google's AI. I don't know what is it.
Sounds good.
Gemini or something like that.
Gemini. Well, Google search. Yeah, I think it's still Google search still. But how much of AI is there? No, sorry.
It's
Or
BERT.
you took it from the snippet above search
No,
engine
I took
results.
it from result
normal,
page, but
yeah.
but it's BERT, which is basically the same technology, just some steps before.
Same technology, computers.
Yeah, sand and electricity.
Bytes, sending bytes. Yeah.
so
Good.
again, the summary was you pulled it off. You processed this entire piece. Again, you might get to the point of diminishing returns on small sets of changes. It may just be easier to go in, make the edits, and then continue to use ChatGPT or the tool, the Claude Sonnet, let it run its tests on your changes. Okay. Let it do that portion of it because that it does very well. And then it's still fine to take that patch that it generates and then turn around and push it back into one of the other tools or two of the other tools as your double check, right? As your reference to the experts. And again, the way I'm visualizing what you've done here is you said, wow, I have a limited expensive resource in Andrey. Okay. what if I could get access to that level of intelligence with, more work on my side and test some of these ideas out? And I, hats off, because you not only did that, you encouraged me because of this to go do and apply these steps. And it really helped. What I'm hoping for as people watch this, even if they speed through a lot of it, is they get to that point where they get off their duff, they go fire this up, they put cursor on, it has a demo mode for, whatever days, and they actually get the environment up and running. And we could use more people testing patches. Like if that's
Oh, I
all that
forgot
came
to
out of this,
mention. Excellent point. Let me show you one more thing
it's a good
because I
reason to
forgot to.
summarize.
Yeah. Some summary is great, and I think indeed it should simplify at least prototyping, because somehow I noticed if you come with your idea and attach a code, it's considered better. I don't know if if we will have inflation of this, because it might happen. Like this like too many patches with bullshit code. It might happen. But at least for now, I feel if I come with patch, discussion goes really better. So what I also did with a slightly different approach, I reviewed another person's code. Let me find it. Yeah,
Not my
here.
timing code.
It was in PGStar statements. Sami I won't pronounce it. Sorry, I will try. Sami imseich. So I know there was a talk or discussion by Sami or where Sami participated about how PGStar statements should evolve, because I saw like some words mentioning PGStar statements improvements and so on from latest conference where Andrey was present, right? So idea was let's have additional columns in PGStar statements representing how
Plans.
many. Here's a trick. It says plans, but it's actually not plans. It's executions. Executions made based on custom plan or versus generic plan. So 2 additional counters. And I used bigger models to collect ideas. I reviewed. In Cursor, we built everything. We tested everything multiple times and so on. And then docs, it was my finding. No LLMs found this, because I noticed somehow differently, like the wording is total. I'm very sensitive to it because I don't like word total, how it's used in PGStar statements. But here it's used even not in that sense, which is already used. So I noticed it. And the author agreed, so it's great. And also I noticed that I was confused, as you right now was confused, thinking it's plans, but it's actually execution. So yeah, so I think I provided most valuable items are here. Everything else is LLM. So this is example that you still need to put some work to your brain. You need to think, because none of 3 biggest models, GPT, Gemini, and Claude, they didn't catch these issues. But yeah, other issues are also interesting, but no. So yeah, some duplication. So it's good. I mean, it's great to use it for review, but you need to compile, you need to test, and you need to think additionally yourself. But I think it's much faster if you're not expert. But you're willing to review other people's work. This work I picked up particularly because I'm very interested to see these 2 columns. It's super useful for our production systems. We observe, our clients observe and so on. So it was great. Yeah, that's it. I think, right?
Yeah. No, thank you. It was, again, I think it was educational. Both Andrey and I clearly learned a few extra pieces on how you do some of this. And I'm looking forward to seeing if I can get it to obey some rules and not have to keep reminding it, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, one more thing, I also learned that Cursor is using Postgres database itself.
Yeah, the
servers.
company, I heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a good talk. I can provide the link on YouTube where CTO is explaining some details, and it looks like they hit some issues as well, like all people hit. But growth is amazing. Like it's absolutely fast growing startup. So yeah, and I think a lot of problems, but it's so like it. That's why I'm addicted already. I use it every day, and I'm going to contribute more soon. So I'm sure there will be many problems, but I feel like kind of there's a game changer, especially with Claude and so on. Good. Thank you so much. I enjoy it. I think I'm like I will send another version soon. Let's maybe think what's next.
Yeah. I've got a few ideas I threw out there, but I'm curious whatever else you guys want. I'm mostly in the tools space, SQL and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, maybe if you do something, maybe we will just discuss some result and just to save time, because honestly, it's time consuming. You are addicted, and I spent like many hours iterating. Yeah.
Yep. No, that's what I'll probably do is implement one.
Yeah, but I would spend months, maybe weeks, or maybe even months to manually. So because I don't know a lot of stuff. Okay, good. See you soon. Bye bye.
Thanks.